Have you ever stopped to consider the sheer gravity of child trafficking and its devastating consequences? It's a question that bears weight. Child trafficking, an atrocious crime, is a dark underbelly of our society, festering and growing, often unnoticed. It's a multi-billion-dollar illicit business, with countless innocent lives caught in its web. Every year, hundreds of thousands of children are trafficked globally, losing their innocence, their childhood, their very essence to this monstrous act. These children are not just numbers on a page, they are flesh and blood, hearts and minds, dreams and potential, all brutally crushed. The impact on these young victims is profound and enduring. Physical abuse, psychological trauma, and in many cases, the contraction of life-threatening diseases. The ripple effect on society is equally devastating, leading to broken families, shattered communities, and a cycle of crime and violence that feeds on itself. Each case of child trafficking is a stark reminder of this grave issue. One such case that brought this issue to the forefront is that of True Waters and his co-defendant, DeMarcus George. In 2018, Arkansas rapper True Waters, also known as Mario Waters, and his co-defendant DeMarcus George committed an unforgivable crime. This wasn't just any crime. It was a heinous act that sent chills down the spine of anyone who heard about it. True Waters and DeMarcus George, for reasons beyond comprehension, decided to sexually traffic a vulnerable, innocent 6-year-old child. The child, whose identity we will keep anonymous out of respect, was subjected to unimaginable horrors. The details are disturbing to recount. This innocent soul was later found to have contracted several sexually transmitted diseases, a painful physical testament to the monstrous acts inflicted upon her. But the horror doesn't end there. Mario Waters, the alter ego of True Waters, also sexually assaulted the child, adding another layer of cruelty to this already appalling act. And perhaps what's even more disheartening is the fact that the child's mother was aware of the abuse her child was enduring and did nothing to stop it. Their actions were not only criminal but deeply inhumane, causing irreparable harm. Justice, however, was swift and unyielding. The wheels of justice began to turn for True Waters, also known as Mario Waters, and DeMarcus George. Both were brought to trial, their atrocities laid bare for the world to see. The courtrooms were filled with a palpable tension as the gruesome details of their crimes were unveiled. True Waters, in a surprising turn of events, pled guilty in 2021. His confession sent shockwaves through the courtroom, but it was a crucial step towards justice for the victim. DeMarcus George, his co-defendant, was also held accountable for his part in the despicable acts. The sentences were as severe as the crimes they committed. Both Waters and George were given life sentences, the harshest penalty that could be imposed. The gravity of their actions demanded nothing less. They were to spend the rest of their days confined within the cold, unforgiving walls of a prison cell. Thus, they were bound to spend the rest of their lives behind bars, paying for their heinous acts. But for True Waters, his punishment took an unexpected turn. The year was 2024, a seemingly ordinary year, but one that marked the sudden end of True Waters' life sentence. Just 3 years into his incarceration, True Waters, also known as Mario Waters, was found lifeless in his prison cell at the federal Terre Haute prison. His demise was as shocking as it was abrupt, cutting short a life sentence that was meant to serve as a lasting punishment for his atrocious crimes. As the news of his death spread, it sent ripples of disbelief and speculation. But we'll steer clear from conjecture. Instead, we focus on the undeniable fact, the unexpected conclusion to a sentence that was originally intended to span a lifetime. It's important to remember that True Waters was not just any inmate. He was a man who had pleaded guilty to the heinous crime of child trafficking, a man whose actions had irrevocably scarred a child's life and left a chilling imprint on those who heard of it. This was not just the end of his life, but the end of a chapter that had been seared into the public consciousness. Yet, the abruptness of Waters' death does not erase the horrors of his actions or the suffering of his victims. If anything, it serves as a stark reminder of the gravity and the repercussions of such monstrous crimes. His life and death stand as a testament to the fact that actions have consequences, sometimes far beyond what one can anticipate. In the case of Mario Waters and DeMarcus George, their actions led them to the cold, unforgiving confines of a prison cell. For Waters, those walls became the silent witnesses to the last moments of his life. His demise, as unexpected as it was, serves as a grim reminder that justice, in its own way, is always served. The tale of True Waters and DeMarcus George is a grim reminder of the consequences of child trafficking, both for the victims and the perpetrators.